He's winning every map, every tournament, almost every MVP, has insane stats, and is quite literally pioneering Counter-Strike into a new age. And no, I'm not talking about s1mple. Okay, so before we get into the video, quick friendly reminder that we have new merch.
Guess what, folks? Our Touchgrass hoodies did so well that the suits are actually letting us make even more dumb gamer-inspired shit. Like our new Bader zip-up hoodies, made for all the real blue-collar workers out there. Perfect for any environment, whether it's catching fish, hanging your teammates out to dry, or just tugging on your... Or how about our inspiring new Onward and Forward tee? The ideal shirt for the sweatiest of gamers so that you can slam the W key with zero resistance and little to no chafing. Teammates don't like it? Fuck them. Ruin everyone's night. Oh, and yeah, we got these blue esports tees. I forgot we made these. Yeah, they're definitely blue and they say esports. Game in style and comfort with theScore Esports Drop 2 available now.
If any of that looks sick to you, head over to shop.thescore.com. So yeah, Ropz. A couple days ago, Ropz's teammate, Twists, put out this seemingly spicy, but honestly completely sensible tweet saying that CS2's native son was in fact the best in the world. And let's be honest, he kind of just is. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that just because homie's on a hot streak that he's all of a sudden indefinitely better than ZywOo or s1mple. What I am saying is that right now, if you look at the numbers, he is unquestionably the best competitor in the game. 15 straight maps, 3 straight tournaments, 2 of the 3 MVPs that have been handed out so far, and a slew of absurdly consistent stats. The guy is an animal, and that's cool. See what I did there? But that's not really why we're here. Ropz has always been a generational talent, and I said for years in CSGO that he was still being underrated even when he was a top 10 player in the world. The reason we're really here is because of the stuff he's doing outside of the server. Or, you know, outside of competitive servers. You see, pretty much the second that CS2 launched, Ropz was living and breathing this game. From tick rate experiments to labbing sick utility lineups, Lil Bro has been on that grind. While the rest of us have been complaining endlessly about how awful CS2 is, and trust me, I too am guilty of that, homie has been working every day to improve it. And that's amazing. Honestly, it's great for CS2, it's great for the community, and it's great for Ropz's trophy case. Unfortunately, it has caused people to draw sort of disparaging comparisons between the 16-9 GOAT and the actual GOAT. Also, can we just take a second to point out the strays that my boy ZywOo is catching from this scrawny tweet? You know the 50 Cent meme?
I'm like, what do you say me for?
That's literally fucking ZywOo waking up and seeing this tweet. You see, since the launch of CS2, s1mple has been pretty vocal about his dislike for it. So much so that he encouraged aspiring competitors to basically just not play it until it felt better. This inspired Valve to reach out to him privately and ask what he thought the issues were. And, well, he left them on red.
You know what I did? I never answered them back. How can you ask me what's the issue if the fucking whole internet, whole Twitter writing about issues?
I know s1mple has been catching a shit ton of heat for this, and I said it at the time, and I'll say it again now. I actually think this was a pretty based move, and I respect him for it. I'll tell you why. All of us, you, me, casters, competitors, creators, we've all been very vocal about what the issues with CS2 actually are. It's plastered all over social media, for better and for worse. So for Valve to just reach out to s1mple and say, wait, so, well, what are the issues? It's like borderline offensive. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the tone in which they meant to convey it, but I seem to think that that's how s1mple interpreted it. It seems like what he felt was sort of incensed that the developer would only care to hear grievances from the GOAT, as if they were turning a blind eye to everyone else's opinions except for his. So what he did was ghost them and basically just convey this idea of, look, the issues are well documented all over the internet. You don't need me to spell them out for you. Now, I understand that this is a bit of a hot take, and I'm not saying that s1mple couldn't have responded and actually just explicitly said this stuff to Valve, but I do think that what he did was actually respectful of the Counter-Strike community, not a slight. His intentions were noble, I think. And for people to just shit on him for not saving Counter-Strike is just insane and unfair. The other issue is that a lot of this sympathy towards Valve or understanding of their predicament is sort of retroactive. We only know that Valve are genuinely trying their best and adopting an actual sense of humility through all of this because Ropz told HLTV that Valve said this to him privately. And now, I feel for them. I do. But I didn't when they were radio silent as I was getting fucking railed through walls by Ferrari peaking P90s. We all know that communication is not Valve's strong suit. Never has been in any of their games. In fact, there's a long history of it being maddening just how deafening their silence actually is. So for them to finally offer one morsel of transparency to one person and then have the entire community rise up and be like, oh yeah, guys, no, come on. Like, you know, they're really trying their best. It's just insane. Like, there's no way our Stockholm Syndrome is that bad. Now, some of you might interpret this as me ragging on Ropz or the approach that he opted to take, and I assure you that I am not, categorically. One, I worship Ropz. I always have. You can check the tapes. He is my 16-9 GOAT. Two, the good that he is doing for CS2 cannot be overstated. Was s1mple's approach understandable? Yes, I really think it was. Was it callous? Petty even? Sure, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't, on some level, warranted. Was s1mple's approach understandable? Yes, I really think it was. Was it callous? Petty even? Yes, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't, in some sense, justified. The fact that Ropz rose above it shows that he really is the best of us. Like Scrawny said, a consummate professional who cares deeply about Counter-Strike. Could s1mple have gotten a humble reply from Valve had he not left them on red? Maybe. Probably. But I still understand why he reacted the way he did. The way he described it, Valve's initial message to s1mple did come off as sort of tone deaf, and I think that that's how he interpreted it. It isn't healthy or sustainable for Valve to only offer transparency to like a handful of people in the community. Like, you have to be fucking Ropz or s1mple for your opinion to count for anything. And I could be wrong, but I think that that's what s1mple was trying to rebel against. Now, should the opinion of a s1mple or a Ropz carry more weight than the average MG2 Redditor? Yes, obviously, but it can't be the only thing that Valve gives the time of day to. Anyway, rant over. The takeaway from all of this is that Ropz is a god, and I respect and appreciate him immensely. But I also respect and appreciate the GOAT and the way that he stood up for the Counter-Strike community, which, again, by my reckoning, is what he did. I don't care how much s1mple dislikes CS2. I dislike CS2. We all, on some level, dislike CS2. Don't get me wrong, the game's getting a lot better, but there's still a lot of things about it that are eminently dislikable. So why is it that s1mple's the only one who's not allowed to air his frustrations about the game and Valve's handling of it? Does he have some ethical obligation to make the game better? I mean, you could actually argue that he does. What you can't argue is that he has to do it on anyone's terms that are not his own. Let s1mple cook the way s1mple cooks, just like we let Ropz cook the way Ropz cooks. Who's to say one didn't affect the other? That Valve didn't look at the s1mple debacle and use it to reevaluate their interactions going forward. All any of us want is for CS2 to get better. So let's stop ragging on each other and just focus on that. Oh, we shot this in person at an undisclosed location, and then the video file was corrupt. So we had to reshoot it at home, but it's sad. We were very excited to tease the new location. Soon TM, not Valve time. Not Valve time. Actual soon. Yeah. Actual soon TM.